he decided to bring me in as a part-time strategic CFO to take on those accounting roles, take on the oversight of administration, and also add something that he didn't have, which was a true understanding of the expectations of the business from a financial perspective.
In this video, Betsy Bennett and Jim Dietz, partners in the Florida CFO Group, will give you some ideas on when it might make sense to hire a part-time CFO for your business. Jim, what does a part-time CFO do?
Starting a business is a very challenging undertaking. The entrepreneur has to be an expert in product development, analyzing the market, sales and marketing, and really finance is a very important discipline as well. It's very difficult though for someone with all that creativity to focus efforts on strategic financial matters as well. That's where a part-time strategic CFO can be of great benefit to that entrepreneur, that business owner. The part-time CFO can come in and analyze trends and the market, the cash flow that might result from certain strategies, and truly add quite a bit more value than perhaps an outsourced bookkeeper or perhaps even an in-house full-charge bookkeeper that simply looks at past events. We really become the partner of that entrepreneur and help that entrepreneur be successful. For example, I once had a client that had experienced a bit of a financial stumble. They were growing quite rapidly, but because of a variety of factors, their margins had begun to deteriorate. And that led to dissatisfaction on the part of a private lender, and that led in turn to a great deal of tension between the owner and the operator of the business. And so they really needed somebody to come in and dispassionately evaluate the business and look for ways to improve margins and get back on track. And that's what I did. I was involved as sort of the arbiter of a variety of issues and creatively worked with the CEO to develop and implement new ideas that would improve the margin and improve the overall results of the business. Oftentimes, one of the things that entrepreneurs need to do is move away from an approach that is sort of seat of the pants, where really the plan for the business is within the head of the entrepreneur, and move towards more of a formalized strategic plan that gets written down and all the details are sorted out, including the strategic financial components. That's where a part-time strategic CFO can play a major role. We're very good at documenting, thinking through, analyzing strategic plans, and also looking at the possibility of both downside and how we would react, and also upside and how we might capture an opportunity that comes along.
Betsy, can you give an example of when it might be critical for a smaller business to hire a part-time CFO?
I find that when companies are achieving high growth on the top line, there's a similar trajectory on the expense side of things. One of the trickiest things in a growth situation is when growth starts plateauing or leveling out, there's still the momentum behind the expense side to continue the upward track. Many times, if you only have a controller or an accounting manager, they won't know to anticipate that happening. So what you need to do is have someone in there that understands that now you're going to have to focus on tapping the expense side down to get it in line with where the revenue side is in the current environment.
Jim, can a small business really afford a part-time CFO?
In a small business, prioritization is very important. The owner or the founder or the entrepreneur truly needs to understand what matters most, what has the greatest impact, and put those priorities first. Oftentimes, strategic financial matters don't make the cut. However, strategic financial matters are very important, and a part-time strategic CFO can take on those responsibilities as delegation from the CEO. What that does is it frees the CEO up from some of the details of maintaining the financial aspects of the business, even evaluating the accounting. The part-time CFO can come in and solve those issues and allow the owner to make better use of his or her time. For example, one of my clients wore very many hats. He was responsible as CEO and founder for business development, for estimating the cost of his products, for establishing relationships with vendors, and also spent time overseeing the accounting and administrative functions. Eventually, that became rather overwhelming. And so he decided to bring me in as a part-time strategic CFO to take on those accounting roles, take on the oversight of administration, and also add something that he didn't have, which was a true understanding of the expectations of the business from a financial perspective. So after having me as his strategic CFO for some period of time, we now have a clearer view of financial performance that will result from his operations, and he can sleep at night and spend less hours at the office.
Betsy, what usually triggers a CEO to hire a part-time CFO?
Usually there are pain points that are causing an entrepreneur to seek out a fractional contract CFO. A lot of times they've gone through growth and the entrepreneur understands that what's happened in the past isn't necessarily going to chart what the future is going to look like, and their internal staff are just incapable of painting the picture of what the future will look like given where they are. So again, it's pain points.
One of the key benefits that an owner gets from having a part-time strategic CFO involved is that CFO truly gets to know the business and the owner's goals and objectives. And therefore, should a problem begin to arise, the CFO can be called upon to help solve that problem quickly and efficiently. On the other hand, if an opportunity comes along and say it requires financial resources or a careful evaluation, again, the part-time CFO can step in very rapidly and help to evaluate the situation and help the owner make a better decision and achieve success.
Betsy, what is so special about the Florida CFO Group?
In the Florida CFO Group, we spend a lot of time making sure that any partners we bring in are truly seasoned CFOs. The other thing we really look for, and this just makes sense, is obviously going into doing part-time or fractional CFO work, you need to have an entrepreneurial spirit yourself, so we make sure that's present as well. What we find for some companies that are in the market looking for a fractional CFO, they're looking at some candidates that we would consider more controllers. And the way we distinguish that is controllers focus on getting what happened in the past, record it correctly, whereas CFOs take the data from that point and move it forward and use it strategically with the CEO.